Can you give us like a history?
Yes.
So let's say, I was born in Kenya.
Yeah.
I took studies history, lakini
Mm.
ikakata by fourth grade nikahama, so for somebody like me,
Yes.
can you show us from the beginning
Yes.
what was Kenya like before it was even colonized, to colonization, to present day, if possible? What's the history of this place?
I may give the history of this place of Kenya.
Tufanye Kenya, yeah.
Tufanye Kenya.
Yeah.
Okay, so initially, this place or any part of this country, we had the indigenous people, and it is believed that they were the Hoi San, the Hoi and the San. But we had something that we call the migration. The migration. So like in Kenya, we have different linguistic groups. We have the Bantus, we have the Nilotes, and we have the Kushites and other communities like the Europeans, the Arab, and the Asians. So this place is full of the Bandus, especially the Maragolis, the Luyas at this point. So when that migration was taking place, there are people who are settling in different places. Like the Bantus, they occupied the western part of this country, and the central part of this country, and the coastal part of this country. Then we have the Nilotes. The Nilotes occupied the Rift Valley of this country, and we have the Nyanza region, the Luos. They occupied the Nyanza region.
So I have a question.
Okay.
Where were all these people migrating from?
Like the Luos, they came from Sudan, a place called Baal El Ghazel. Baal El Ghazel in Sudan. Then we had the Bantus. We are believed that we came from Congo, DRC. So they were migrating towards this place.
Oh, they were migrating east.
Yeah, they were just migrating to Kenya. Then after that, as these communities were living, they had to establish what we call a system of governance. So in this form of system of governance, they were ruled in different systems. We had those who had chiefs, chiefdoms. We had those who had kings, had the kingdoms. So that was initially before the coming of the white man in Kenya. The era of 1560s going downwards there to 17 to 18. So like now after that, this country, we had the early visitors that came to the coast. Now the Arabs, we had the Arabs, the Mazurui, the Omans. So they came to the coast. So when they came to coast, we had other groups coming, like the missionaries, people like Rebman, Ludwig Krapf. So they were coming to spread the gospel to the eastern part of the east part of Africa. Let me just call it the eastern part of Africa. So when these missionaries came, they established what we call the missionary centers, like Rabai. I can give an example of Maseno here. It's a good example, which is near, and also Kaimosi.
Oh yeah.
Kaimosi. So those were the mission centers. So their aim was to spread the gospel. So they came and realized that Africans had their own culture, and also they had their new culture. So they had to infuse their culture into the African culture. African culture was like, in terms of marriage, you are allowed to marry more than one wife. And also at the coast, the reason why we have so many Muslims at the coast is because that the Arabic culture allowed for more than one wife. So they felt like the Arabs, they are like us. So we can infuse, we can accept them. So when these missionaries were coming to the interior, they were facing some challenges of insecurity, transport, and also the language barrier. So they had to look for an alternative way on how they could be accommodated, on how their security could be granted. So that's why they went back to their countries, and that's when the what do we call it? The Europeans, the colonizers came. So Kenya became a British colony, not a colony, a British protectorate in 1880. Then it became a British colony in 1920.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
go back there real quick. So you're saying, how did they become? How were they colonized? From after the missionaries came?
yeah,
Or it was
there
was
were
it a
some,
different-
like
was it a
I've
different
said,
group?
there were some groups that were coming to Eastern Africa.
Okay.
Some came to trade.
Mm.
Let me just give some reasons why they came to Africa. So we have those who came to trade. We have those who came to spread the gospel. We have those who just came to settle, because where they were coming from, there was a lot of population. So they had to settle their extra population. I do hope you remember what we call the agrarian revolution. So like
Very tiny.
the industrial revolution.
Oh, yes,
Let me
yes,
speak
yes,
about
yes.
It's called the industrial revolution.
Yeah.
So during the industrial revolution in Europe, labor was needed, isn't it? They needed labor, they needed raw material, and also they needed market for their industrial made good. So where was this place to be found? It was in Africa. And also we had what we call exploration. Just some came just to explore, like Vasco da Gama. He just came to just to explore the coast of Africa. So they found that there's a new land and we can settle our population. There's labor there, there's raw material, and there's enough market for our products. So that's why they're coming to Africa. When they're coming to Africa, Africans had already established themselves in form of a system of governance. So they have to distract the initial systems of governance to introduce their own governance. Then we had something that we call the Berlin Conference that was chaired by Otto von Bismarck. So the Berlin Conference was to determine on how Africa was going to be shared among the European powers. So like in Kenya, the British were looking for the source of the River Nile. So that's why they were given Kenya, they were given Uganda, they were given Sudan and Egypt, the flow of River Nile. Then we had the Germans. The Germans were given to Tanzania. Initially it was called Tanganyika. Yeah, so they were given to Tanzania. Then we had Ethiopia was not colonized because we had something that we call the Adwa battle. So the Italians were defeated. So Ethiopia was never colonized.
They were defeated by Ethiopians?
Yeah, Ethiopians. Wow. We had something that we call the Adwa battle. So they were defeated.
So in this region, is Ethiopia the only country that has not been colonized, or are there more in this eastern region?
In eastern region, it's only Ethiopia. But the whole of Africa, we have Liberia. So we have Ethiopia and Liberia, they were not colonized. In Ethiopia, the case was the Italians were defeated by the Ethiopians at the what you want to call the Adwa battle. Then in Liberia was used like a place where to store the slaves. Yeah. Okay. So after that, after the Berlin Conference, Kenya becomes a British protectorate in 1880. Then it becomes a British colony in 1920. So, and also during this Berlin conference, to divide Africa among the European powers, there was some agreements that were made. That we had free navigation, let me say it like that, free navigation. Like if you are occupying a place like Kenya, Uganda, and there is a river there, like River Nile, the other European power could use the river, free navigation. Then you are to develop that region where you are in. Like we had what you call the Kenya-Uganda Railway. It reached Kisumu in 1901. So they developed the Kenya-Uganda Railway to access the easy movement of goods from the coast to the interior. Yeah. So when Kenya becomes before even becoming a colony, these communities, the indigenous communities, there are those who collaborated with the British and are those who resisted the British. So for those who collaborated, let me give example of the Gikuyus, some part of the Luos, and the Kambas, Luyas. They collaborated for different reasons. Like they needed security, maybe from the neighbors. Some of their leaders were promised like big position, like paramount chiefs, like you could rule a large area so long as you are supporting the European. Yeah. And they're like, these people have what you call they got sophisticated weapons. So at least we can rely on them in case of a problem. They can protect us. So that's the reason why they collaborated. And there are those who resisted, like the Nandi. So the Nandi resisted because they felt like, why are foreigners coming to our country to establish their own leadership, yet, or their system of governance, yet we have our leaders. And they had enough warriors, they had weapons, so they felt that they can fight the British. And also, they felt like Koitalel Arap Samoei was their leader. So they could not be led by the foreign people. But by the end of the day, they were defeated. Yeah. So after that, Kenya was colonized in 1920. So after that colonization, Africans communities were now the introduction of the Western education. We had what we call the mission schools. One is around Maseno here, Maseno School, Nairobi School, another one, Kaimosi, let me use, so those schools. And these schools were meant just to offer education to the whites. Like the whites felt that the best system of education should be given to the white kids or children. Then like if you want to do things like masonry, plumbing, we give it to Africans because they believe that Africans their IQ was so low to do things like aviation. Yeah, so they felt like the only thing they can do masonry, they can do plumbing. That's the best place. But we had now the establishment of the independent schools and the independent churches. So the independent school were meant now to balance the system, to offer education to the African kids. But it faced a lot of challenges, like they had not enough teachers, the learning materials were few, and also the regime of the day felt like it was like a competition to them. And also Africans, on the side of the independent churches, Africans felt that it was not fair for them to marry one wife the way the British wanted. Like we just need to marry one wife, one wife, one man. So like the African culture was allowing polygamy.
Yeah.
So they had to establish their own churches, their own independent churches, just to accommodate them. Then after that, we had early political associations. We call them early political associations. They were associations like the Ukambani Members Association. We had the Young Kavirondo Association. We had the Kikuyu Central Association. We had what do we call Taita Hills. So Taita Hills Association. So each community had their own.
Yeah.
It was not a political party, but it was just an association. Because you know, after the end of the First World War, Africans felt that the Europeans were so superior. So when they went to places like Burma to fight, and they saw the Europeans dying, when they came back, they realized, no, we can defeat these people. We can do something. The ex-soldiers. So that's why they are coming back. They are establishing what you call the association, political association.
So you're saying it took them fighting together and seeing them dying, just like regular.
Just seeing an European, you know, it was believed that a European could not die. I'm sorry if one of them may watch the clip.
No. I'm learning. That's the history, right?
Okay, so they felt like a white man can't die. It's so supernatural. So when they went to Burma to fight during the First World War, they experienced these things and they felt like, no, we are coming back home. We can do something. So that's why they are forming associations. And also, they had gone to the mission schools. So Africans were educated and they started feeling like, at least we can fight for our independence. We can fight for our liberation. And we can deliver ourselves and rule this country. But it could not happen. It could not happen with the regime of the day. So we had what we call the Mau Mau. So it was a movement.
I've heard of Mau Mau. What
Mau
time frame
Mau.
are we in right now?
Like ilikuwa 1945 there. 1945 there. So the Mau Mau was like mzungu aende Ulaya, Mwafrika apate uhuru. Mzungu M aende Ulaya U. That's first Mau.
Okay.
Then Mwafrika M apate uhuru U. So it is believed something like that. But it was a secret among the central community. And the movement was being led by people like Field Marshal Muthoni, Dedan Kimathi, and some ex-soldiers who had gone to the First World War and came back. So that is around 1940. So during the Mau Mau, women also played a role. So women were to nurse the Mau Mau fighters. They were to hide them. And they were also to give them conjugal rights. Women at the same time had to look after the homes while the husband are away. And also they had to give them information because they worked on the plantations za wazungu. And initially we had something that we call the kipande system. I'm sorry. Acha nirudi nyuma kidogo. We had the kipande system. So this kipande system ilifaa unaweka kwa shingo. Like you walk with it. I'm Daniel Kenya. I work on Harry James farm. I'm Roy Sam Milton. I work for Carry what farm, like that. So so you had to carry the kipande system, and we also had the tax. We had even the breast tax. We had the heart tax. So you Africans were to pay tax. They were to pay tax. They were to. So they were to pay tax.
Tax for what? To who?
To the British, the Britons. And Africans were not allowed to grow cash crops. They were only allowed to work on the white man plantation. That's what they work, and pay tax. And Africans were not allowed to live in the White Highlands because the White Highland was so fertile. So it was only meant for the white man. And also, you know, Kenya had huge tracts of land. Like you have had a guy, Lord Egerton. You have had a guy like Lord Delamere. So we had what you call the white settlers. So these white settlers, they were introduced to Kenya by the British government, such that they can occupy the White Highlands. They can grow cash crop, and this cash crop could produce what you call the raw materials for their industries back in their country. So Africans, they were to be squatters and only work on the White Highlands farm. So if you go to places like Nakuru, around Mombasa, so huko ndo utawapata. So that's around 1945. Then Africans felt like we are being oppressed. We are being oppressed. So that's why they introduced what you call the Mau Mau movement. But the ringleader, Dedan Kimathi, was betrayed. Was betrayed
by his people?
Yeah, by his people. Then he was killed. Yeah, after he was killed, the Mau Mau movement was banned. So we had what we call the state of emergency in 1952. It was declared by Sir Baring, 1952. So Africans had now, you know, that comes after the Second World War. They have gone to fight. They're coming back and they're like, now it's time to have our own independence. So because of the activities of Mau Mau, there was what we call the state of emergency in 1952, and we had the arrest. Those people were associated, anybody who was just associated with the Mau Mau. So we had what we call the Kapenguria 6. I'll name them. We had Jomo Kenyatta, Kungu Karumba, Achieng' Oneko, Bildad Kagia, Paul Ngei, the last. Okay, I'll just remember the last one. That part here. So they were arrested and taken to Kapenguria. So they are famously referred to as the Kapenguria 6. But initially, I told you that we had what we call the political association. Do you get the point? Yeah, we had the political associations. So we had a guy named as a guy known as James Gishuru. In fact, that would be the first president of Kenya. But hapo ndo wao anasema unakuwa makini sana na your friend, because huyu jamaa alikuwa like ako mstari wa mbele. But when Jomo Kenyatta was arrested and taken and detained in Kapenguria, this guy was like, Jomo Kenyatta is back. You know, the good thing with those days, if you just know how to read and write, excellent, you are a leader. So Jomo Kenyatta knew how to read and write and how to communicate to the white man, because he had stayed in England, yeah, and even married a Briton. So after they had been arrested, we had the state of emergency. Now we had what called that Kenyans were like, no, we need to have changes, constitutional changes. We need to have our own constitution. We need to have our independence. We had what we call the Lennox-Boyd Constitution Amendment and the Littleton Constitution. So they were amended, and it gave Africans and Asians a chance to the Legislative Council. It was called the Legico, the Legislative Council. And those who had higher numbers in the Legico were the Europeans, the Britons, followed by the Asians, then Africans and other communities that were living in Kenya.
So you see this, what you're talking about, something simply based here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So after that, in 1919, that was around 1955, 1957, then we had the first Lancaster Conference in 1960, and then the second Lancaster, 1960, I think 1961, 1962, the first and the second. First Lancaster House Conference and the second Lancaster House Conference, mainly to discuss on the progress of Kenya, on how Kenya could have their own independence. So in 1963, Kenya attained her self-independence from the British. But they still used the British Constitution, whereby Jomo Kenyatta, after his release, was to become the Prime Minister, not the President, the Prime Minister. And also the executive ilikuwa na pia na the Queen of England. So we were not fully independent.
This is in 1963?
1963.
Okay.
1964, we were declared a republic on 12th June. The one that we celebrated recently too here. So we became a republic in 1964. And the party that led Kenya to independence was KANU, Kenya African National Union. Then we had the opposition party by then was called KADU, Kenya African Democratic Union. KANU was majorly dominated by the Luos and the Kikuyus. Then the KADU was led by a guy known as Ronald Ngala. So Ronald Ngala, yeye alikuwa anaongoza tu the coastal region, Waluya, Western region, and Rift Valley, KADU. And KANU was led by Jomo Kenyatta and Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. So in 1964, KANU won the elections, and Jomo Kenyatta became the president, the first president of the Republic of Kenya, and the vice president was Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, the father to the late Raila Odinga. So, and also in 1963, there was the introduction of the Majimbo system of government. So Majimbo system of governance means that we had two levels of governance: the national government and the county government. Like in Kenya, we call it a quasi federal government. It's something that resembles the US government, where we have the federal government. So in Kenya, it was what is referred as the Majimbo government. But there came a problem now between the president and the vice president. By then they were called the vice president. So Jaramogi Oginga Odinga and Jomo Kenyatta, they were not in good terms. So it reached a point when Jomo Kenyatta went to Kisumu to open the new Nyanza General Hospital. Initially was called Russia Referral Hospital. It was funded by the Russian government. If you can remember the eras of the Cold War between the East and the West. So Jaramogi was supporting the Russians during the Cold War. while Jomo Kenyatta was on the other side of the Americans. So when he went to Kisumu to open the Russia General Hospital, alipigwa na mawe na mayai yenye imenuka. Like, so in 1966, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga goes, okay, turudi nyuma kidogo. In 1960, we had this man called Pinto Gama. Pinto. So he was assassinated by the government because he was a great caretaker of Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. Akauawa. So in 1966, Jomo Kenyatta fell out with the Jaramogi. So he had to form his own party, the Kenya People's Union, KPU. Upon forming KPU, the constitution of the day indicated that if let me remember the clause. It was like the party, if you defect from the party that sponsored you to parliament, then you had to go back to the common mwananchi to do what? To seek fresh election to the parliament. So he was to resign as the vice president and also as the member of parliament for Bondo to go and vie afresh. And he had some of his supporters. They tried. Most of them lost to Kanu, but he akarudi parliament. So in 1969, Tom Mboya, maisikia mtu alikuwa anaitwa Tom Mboya. Tom Mboya alikuwa Kadu. Tom Mboya was assassinated. So it increased the tension between the Luos and the Kikuyus. Because it was believed Nahashon Njenga, a Gikuyu, is the one who assassinated Tom Mboya. So the Kikuyus and the Luos are like, you have killed one of us. What's wrong? So Tom Mboya was killed in 1969. There were so many issues, insecurities and all those things. In 1975, there's also another government assassination of J.M. Kariuki. J.M. Kariuki was the member of parliament for, I think, Bahati in Nakuru, around Gilgil there. He was assassinated. People are like, this government, bwana, inaanza kutumaliza. Around 1977 there, 1978, afya ya mzee Jomo Kenyatta ilikuwa inaharibika. So the Gikuyus, we had something that we call the Gema. So the Gema are the Gikuyus, Embu, Meru, and the Akamba. So they felt that power should not leave River Chania. And that is an oath that they took, that power should not leave the central part of this country. We fought for power. We fought the British. We are the one who should be having this power, not any other community. But they had no stronger candidate. So Mzee passed on 22nd August 1978. And the
medical or just health issues?
Health issues. I think cardiac arrest.
Okay.
Akakufa tu in his sleep. Wakapata amekufa. And by then, just to go to the media and announce that the president is dead, it was even more than, what do we call it? It was even more than attempting to overthrow the government. It was something that was unheard of. And you could not imagine just going to the TV, the KBC, just to announce the Voice of Kenya. It was called the Voice of Kenya, VOK. Just to go on a TV and announce that the president is dead. So the constitution was clear that now, when the president dies, the vice president takes power. So who takes the power? Daniel Torotich Arap Moi, the owner of Kabarak. So Moi takes power in 1978.
Question.
Yes.
What happened to the Odinga guy?
Odinga alileta mchezo 1966.
Okay.
So alikuwa amefukuzwa nje ya serikali.
Oh.
Yeah,
So
alikuwa ameonyeshwa mlango.
Okay. Then hakukuwa the vice president.
Hakuwa the vice president. So after that,
Daniel Torotich Arap Moi na Jomo Kenyatta walikuwa the same nini?
Yeah.
Same tribe?
No.
Ama walikuwa
Jomo Kenyatta alikuwa Mkikuyu. Moi Mkalenjin. The Kalenjin. Yeah. Torotich Arap Moi, the son of Arap means that. So after that, Moi takes power 1978. In 1982, there is an attempted coup by the Air Force led by Hezekiah Ochuka. So they tried to overthrow the government because they just said, this is just mwalimu, a classroom teacher. Wacha tumpatie, but within a few period of time, we will take back our power. Without realizing that Moi, you know, when Moi came to power, he released all the political detainees. People like Anyona, Seronei. Those people were detained by Jomo Kenyatta. So when he came to power, he was like, let me release these political detainees. Let me bring some political changes. And people were like, Moi ni kama Musa. It's somebody who has come to deliver us. Moi is a good guy. He's a nice guy. Introduced so many things. Like the Nyayo T-zone. Nyayo. Alisema, nitafuata Nyayo. So unasikia kitu inaitwa Harambe. Harambe. Harambe means pulling together. So that was the slogan that was being used by Jomo Kenyatta. Like, let's pool our resources together. Let's come together. Let's build Kenya. And that's why alikuwa anasema Harambe, Harambe. No. So when Moi comes to power, he introduces what he call Nyayo. Nyayo ni easy. Footstep. So penye mzee aliachia, nitafuata the footstep. Kwa the slogan yayo Nyayo, it means peace, love and unity. Peace, love and unity for Nyayo. That is 1978. But in 1972, the way I've said, there was a coup, an attempted coup that was led by Hezekiah Ochuka. But Moi recovered the power and Hezekiah Ochuka was hanged. After that, Moi declared Kenya to be a de facto state, whereby Kenya was going to be ruled by, Kenya was going to be ruled by one party, whereby you belong to KANU ama uko nyumbani. Wewe ni KANU, chama ya baba na mama.
Yeah.
KANU.
I remember as a kid, walikuwa naimba nyimbo serikali ya KANU or something like that.
Yeah, serikali ya KANU. Yeah. You are either in KANU ama nyumbani. Na alikuwa na kitu ilikuwa inaitwa fimbo. Fimbo. So that fimbo, it was sign of power. But some believe hii ilikuwa jujus. No, politics has its own superstitions. Like, if you have a watch, you're like, no, that is not a watch. So Moi realized that.
So that was Moi's signal.
Yeah, Moi's signal. Fimbo ya Nyayo. Fimbo ya Nyayo inatuongoza. Fimbo. So ukisikia tu fimbo ni Nyayo. Fimbo, Nyayo. Nyayo, jogo. So the sign ilikuwa ya jogo. So jogo ndio ilikuwa the cock. Sign ya KANU. So Moi anaanza 1978, 1982 anamjaribu. Anabadilisha katiba. You are either in KANU ama nyumbani. But it
hakuwa na opposition kubadilisha?
No, there were now the opposition came in 1988. So tukatoka kwa secret ballot tukaingia kwa mlolongo system. In mlolongo system, if I'm vying for Vihiga parliamentary seat, nitasimama hapa. Ama wewe utasimama. Unaona vile umesimama hivyo? Na picha yangu unabeba juu. Watu wote wenye wananipenda watasimama nyuma yako. Watu wote wenye wanapenda Roy wanasimama nyuma ya Roy. Watu wote wenye wanapenda Jeff nyuma ya Jeff. Sasa the one who has the longest queue ameshinda. So you can imagine how rigging was in that year.
Yeah.
So in 1988, the Mlolongo system, people were like, no. And there was rampant corruption in the country. Resources were being stolen. So even donors from the West, they felt like, no, we need to have what you call a change, a political change. And some people went to exile. People like Raila Odinga, because they were championing for what you call multi-party. They were championing for multi-party. Lawyers like Orengo, Gitobui Manyara, they went to exile. Some lecturers went even to exile. A good example, let me give you a good example of Thiongo. Ngugi wa Thiongo. Have you heard of him? Amekufia US. Ngugi wa Thiongo. So, Ngugi wa Thiongo alikuwa anaandika literature yenye ilikuwa na criticize the Moi government. So Moi felt that no, this guy doesn't deserve to be in this country. They went on even and raped his wife mbele ya macho yake, mbele ya watoto wake. So Ngugi wa Thiongo ran and went to the US. Then we had some lecturers. There are some aspects of education that could not be taught in any university. Anything that was against Moi, it could not be taught in any public university. So everywhere you could go, roads are named after him, airports, schools.
Yeah.
Like if you go to Vihiga, there's what you call Moi Girls Vocoli.
Yeah.
If you go to like Baringo, there's another school, Moi Girls what. If you go to Moi Forces Academy, Moi International Airport, Moi Air Force Base, and things are just named after Moi everywhere. But he really loved education, so he played a major role in the growth of the education of Kenya, and introduced what we call the maziwa ya Nyayo.
Yeah. Nakumbuka.
Ulikunywa?
Nilikunywa hiyo.
Maziwa ya Nyayo. So that is the so in 1992, we changed the constitution, the section 2A of the constitution, which allowed for multi-party. So at least we had the first multi-party. We had parties like the Forum for Restoration of Democracy, Forum for Restoration of Democracy. And initially people like Jaramogi Oginga Odinga were under house arrest. Yeah. Ulikuwa tu ni Moi peke yake. So we had what we call Forum for Restoration of Democracy, but it's split into two. Kulikuwa na Ford Kenya and Ford Asili. Ford Asili means original. And the origin of something. Asili penye kinaanzia. So we had Ford Asili and Ford Kenya. So the opposition by then was being led by people like Matiba, Martin Shikuku, Kiraito Murungi, and also Kibaki. So that's what the side of the opposition. But the opposition lacked unity. Moi was re-elected. 1997, there was some election. Moi was elected. But upon nearing 2000 there, people were tired with Moi. They were like, Moi must go. So in 2002, the opposition united with something that we call the National Alliance of Rainbow, I think NAC, National Alliance I think Rainbow, something like NAC. So NAC was the party that sent Moi home. So Moi went home in 2002. Moi was defeated in 2002. Moi akaenda nyumbani.
Wow, so alianza
1978 to 2002.
Wow.
24 years.
Sababu nakumbuka, I was born 1991 and tukaenda US 2002.
Yeah.
And he's the only president in Limjo that I knew.
Moi.
Moi, so
So yenda alikuwa in fact he is the longest serving president.
Oh, mpaka till today. Wow.
Yeah. So in 2002 we had NAC. NAC sent Moi home. Moi went home. Uhuru Kenyatta alikuwa supported, akaanguka. Even huyu Musalia Mudavadi went home. Tukakuja mambo na 2002 kulikuwa na kitu ilikuwa inaitwa like what do we call it? We had memorandum of understanding, MOA, between Raila Odinga, Kibaki, Charity Ngilu. In 1997, the opposition was defeated because they had no unity. So in 2002, they had signed a memorandum of association, not like of understanding, MOU. So the NAC government failed. So they failed. Unajua like politicians vile uliniuliza tu initially.
Yeah.
Mtu anapata tu kitu mzuri kidogo anakusahau.
Yeah.
So in 2005 we had now also the change of the constitution. Remember the Majimbo government collapsed in 1965 there. Tukarudi kwa unitary system of governance. 2005 there's another election, chungwa na ndizi, banana and orange. So in Kenya we have something that we call Orange Democratic Movement. Orange Democratic Movement, ODM. So unaelewa hiyo ni chama yenye unaweza jua. So in 2005 we had the change of the constitution but haikupita. 2007 tukaenda election, ndio tukakuwa na machafuko, like kuwa na vita.
Yeah.
People died. Kuna mtu aliapishwa usiku. Kuna mtu sijui alishinda, kuna mwingine alishindwa. So hawajui nani alishinda na nani alishindwa. Hatujui. But
so hiyo nini ya 2007 2008. Looking back, what was the main issue?
The main issue was on the election results. Like Kivuitu could not determine between Raila Odinga and Kibaki who had won the election. Angejua. Then hawezi apisha mtu usiku. So Kibaki aliapishwa usiku. Then there were what we call it? There were so many errors in Form 34A and 34B. So the results that were in Form 34A and those results that were in 34B, they were not matching. They were not matching. Then there were just massive rigging. Massive rigging. So the ODM believed that, the ODM party believed that we had won the election. But we had what we called a meeting. We had a meeting. So we had what we call the Nusu Mkate government, whereby we introduced the second prime minister, Raila Odinga. The first prime minister was Jomo Kenyatta. But after 2007 election, we had the second prime minister, Raila Odinga, after peaceful negotiation that was led by Kofi Annan. So they decided that, okay, we shall have the prime minister who will be on the side of the government. Then tutakuwa na the president. No, tutakuwa na government na I think government na the parliament. So president yeye angekuwa side ya wabunge, parliament, the executive, the executive. So alikuwa tu side ya executive, then the government itaongozwa na the prime minister Raila Odinga. Yeah. So So they were to share 50-50 of the government. Then after that, 2010, wakasema no, we need to go back, tutafute new constitution. We had the Kriegler report. We had the commission that had carried out what had happened during the 2007. Na wakasema no, we need a new constitution. So that's why tunaenda kwa 2010, tunapata the new constitution. We reintroduced the federal kind of government, the quasi-federal. So the first election under the quasi-federal government ilikuwa 2013, where we introduced the county governments and the national government. So we have the two levels of government, the national government and the county government. Umeona? Yeah. So county government ni kama this one, Vihiga County. So we have 47 counties. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, before I left, ilikuwa provinces.
Yeah.
8 provinces.
Kuwa na 8 provinces.
Sasa, okay, so unasema
2013 we introduced, yeah.
But lakini
under the new constitution.
Yeah.
2010 constitution.
So another question. Now wakati there was something about red and green.
That is 2010.
That was 2010.
Exactly,
okay.
2010. So those
voting for yes or no.
Yeah, so watu wa yes walikuwa red. Watu wa no, red. No,
watu wa red walikuwa no.
No.
Yeah.
Red, no.
No, green yes.
Green, yes. Yeah. Green one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
By a lot ama ilikuwa
a lot.
Okay.
Hao walishinda.
Yeah. There was no confusion.
There was no confusion in 2010.
Okay.
So we had the promulgation on 27th August 2010. Then 2013, first election under the new constitution, we introduced the county governments. Tukaingia hivyo system. Tukaingia another election 2017. A funny election, a very special election, whereby for the first time in East, Central, West, and the whole of Africa, elections to be nullified, it was in Kenya. So elections were nullified.
Oh, nullified.
Elections were nullified. And Raila believed that he had won, but somebody has taken his uongozi. But wakasema the judiciary, by then it was led by the president was Maraga. So Maraga nullified the election. So we had to conduct a fresh election. But Raila said, kama Chebukati is the one who is the chair of the IEBC, he can't go back. Yeah, kama referee ni ule atapeana tu penalty still to the opponent. So we have no reason why we should go back to the ballot. Akasusia, elections zikaandaliwa, nani akashinda? Uhuru Kenyatta akashinda 2017. Tukakuja 2022. 2022 sasa unajua Uhuru anamaliza, like the president limit ilikuwa 10 years, 5 years. Yeye amemaliza his 10 years. Anaenda nyumbani 2022. 2022 tukakuwa na something tena very funny. Hustlers versus dynasty. The hustler, the rich versus the poor. The wheelbarrow versus the orange. So people believe that William Samoei Ruto is the best president. Is the best candidate for them. They voted for William Ruto. Ruto came to power. When Ruto comes to power, with the notion of the bottom up, you remember the notion of the bottom up? So the bottom up was like raising those who are down to a letter you. How about those at the top? Tunawarudisha chini. So that's where we had what we call something that inaitwa Gen Z.
Yeah.
A pricing of Gen Z. So Gen Z felt like no. Haiwezekani. Taxes are high. Everything iko juu. Mafuta iko juu. chakula iko juu. So they brought a revolution. They tried, wakaingia the parliament, but hawakufaulu. Haya, kutulia, the president felt that his deputy, Gachagua, is the problem. So the deputy president is impeached. Things are just the same. Like the guy is corrupt, tribal, like grounds zenye hata zieleweki, sijui you have inherited your brother. So hiyo ni nini? Like you are eating a lot, like my community, everything, my community. Sijui, we need power, we need that. So the president felt that huyu jamaa na kama anakula sana. So
what did the country think? Did they agree with
some part of the country, like the Rift Valley part, the western part, Nyanza region, coastal region, they were like, we are okay. But if you go to central region, part of Nakuru, Naivasha, especially where his communities are, they believed that it was not a good move to impeach the deputy president. So after that, the impeachment, Kindiki came to power. Now as the third deputy president of Kenya. The first deputy president was William Samoei Ruto, followed by Rigathi Gachagua, then Kindiki. Initially, we had what we call the vice presidents under the pre-2010 constitution. But after 2010, we refer to them as deputy president.
But they're still second in command.
Yeah, they're still second in command.
Something happens to president,
they take power. Yeah. So that's what has happened. Kutoka huko kukuja until 2020 what? 2025.
Sasa next election ni
2027.
Okay. Na prediction, unaweza kutupatia prediction ya 2027?
Hii imeenda. Naweza sema hii imeenda. Hii imeenda.
Yeah.
Hii imeenda.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Like if the president, you know our constitution, the president is the one that you appoint civil servants. They are approved by the parliament. Then you sign. These are satisfied people. Sasa kama wewe umechagua referee utashindwa. No, you have been given an opportunity, Daniel, just to choose the referee. Utashindwa. Sina anachagua nani, nachagua Roy, nachagua Jeff nikijua ai. Wakienda pale. And you know the power of money. So hii ya Kenya 2027 Ruto will have an easy time. And also the second prediction you can base on the competitor. Who is this competitor? The major competitor was Gachagua, who was impeached, and the constitution says that if you are impeached, you can't vie for any public position. So huyu tushamtoa kwa hesabu, tumemwonea 18. Tumemtoa. Yeah, then wengine like the major challenge to the president angekuwa Raila Amolo Odinga. May his soul rest in eternal peace, who died recently. So he has no competitor. Yeah. So 2027 mashindano ni rahisi. Then another thing, if you go to those people who are to elect leaders, sisi wananchi, Gen Zs, who are his major opponents, hawana kura. Sasa hawana kura. Ndo nakwambia hii imeenda. Hii imeenda.
Protest lakini where it matters nobody is there.
Yeah. Like in Kenya, kama unataka watu wa kuprotest, if you need people who can throw stones, people who can write rubbish on the internet, tafuta vijana. But if you need people who can vote for you, tafuta akina mama, wazee. Those people are patient, they can go to a line, they wait and vote for you. But you see, we don't have time. Kwa internet. So when are we going to vote?
So then, to close, what can be your encouragement to your generation?
My encouragement to my generation is that we are the people who can change this country. And Kenya is a good country. I love Kenya personally. What I can tell them at this moment, the registration of voters process is going on. It is my urge to them that tujitokeze, twende tuchukue ile kura, then come 2027, just make a wise decision. No matter if your choice fails to make it, but you made the right decision, you won't blame yourself in your life. But if you fail to make a decision, then you live to blame yourself. Yes. Yes.
Wow, asante sana.
Aye.
Thank you very much. You know, some of the things you talked about I knew. Like I like that you gave me dates and you gave me names and you gave me the actual conferences and things that were happening. Sasa hata mimi nikisema alisema nini, naweza kwenda Google ndo nijifunze.
Yeah, I'm planning to write a book on that, on the history of Kenya.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, I just want to write history from just people to know where we came from.
Yeah.
Until major events that have taken place.
Yeah.
Like 1945, 1920, 1980, 1982, 1978, 1992, 1997, 2002, 2007, 2010, 2027, not 2027, 2017, 2022, and 2023. Yeah. At least we have a glimpse on what's going on. Yeah.
Actually, I had one more thing.
Yes.
So then, for someone like you, you're about to graduate, you're going to law school,
Yes.
alafu to change the place. So how can people support you?
The only support that I could like them to is just to hear from my side what I have for them. I have a lot of things for them. Just the only support they can give me, just giving me that chance. Just giving me chance to change everything. But I'm not guaranteed that I'll change everything in a single day. It's a process. Change is a process. And it's not something that just comes easily. You have to embrace the change. Once you embrace it, change just come. Yeah. And also I like to urge my people that the way you can, if you view this area, and if you if you see the scenarios around here, education is the only thing that has remained for us, because we don't have enough land. You can just see, we have been on the hike, and you have seen the area. This is not a land that you can say that I'll harvest 10 bags of maize. Kuna mawe kila mahali. So to also bring a change in this region, I'll embrace that tukumbatie masomo. Like education is the most important thing that can help us. Lakini si mwanasiasa. We have to differentiate between a politician and a leader. Because a politician will just tell you what you want to hear. But a leader will transform your life.
Asante sana Douglas.
Karibu.
Wow.
Aye.
This has been a great morning. You know, we have not even drank chai yet.
We just had an interview on the stone. We just had an interview on the stone.
Wow, that was great.
Asante.